We wanted to know where we really wanted to focus our growth, though. Was it New Braunfels, Texas? Was it Fredericksburg? We didn't want to pick both. They're about an hour and a half apart, two really great destinations. We chose Fredericksburg because at the time it was very unregulated, a
Mm.
lot more opportunity to grow. New Braunfels had a lot of restrictions to short-term rentals already at the time. That's what we chose. We chose Fredericksburg, and Fredericksburg was also a year-round market. The weather is pretty consistent year-round. There's about 80 to 100 wineries that are here. The number one state parks here. So it's every single weekend there's just guests. It's very few during the weekdays, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays, but it's just a consistent, very few seasons in terms of the rental. So that's a big reason why we chose it here. And what we also noticed was we knew where we could market. We knew that our customers were coming from Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, and that's both from guests and the homeowners. That's now
Mm.
changed since COVID. A lot of outside investment has been coming. Um, but we knew that that's where we had to focus. Prior, like you said, it was our hair was on fire because how can we do marketing appropriately and have a homeowner acquisition plan when we're a small business that's operating across 7 different markets, 4
Yeah.
major cities, and each city designates itself to a different, like when we're in Orlando, how do you market directly to people? You can't, because it's just everyone coming from all over the world. Whereas here in Fredericksburg, we know who our customer actually is and where they're coming from over and over again. And so we put a lot of investment into homeowner acquisition strategies, handwritten cards, buying databases, understanding all the homes. We classified every home A, B, and C categories of what we wanted to manage. Would send out handwritten cards, handwritten gifts, talk about it. Yes, we're new, but that we are local, things like that. We put a lot of investment into the homeowner acquisition, and we did that right before COVID, and things paused for about 3 months, but then that paid off. That
Mm.
people remembered us from everything that we had sent. They were frustrated with their manager during COVID, or however that occurred, but it just fueled the investment. And then people were at home, I think, just looking for investment opportunities, and that's what fueled that market. But it was, there's challenges that I've learned at every level. I mean, I already had the experience of getting up to 100 units, and we were essentially rebuilding a business here locally. But going from 50 to 100 here, then 100 to 150. Every 50, there's these big benchmarks that you have to break through, and there's
Mm.
ceilings that you hit, from staffing challenges to your operational challenges, people. Um, but the growth, it really was quick. We weren't expecting, we were looking to grow at about 25 to 50 a year. So going, the last 2 years, we've signed on just in a row, but 220 homes in the last two. But we really built out all of our operations to support that finally. And we have all of the right people. I mean, we just celebrated 4 folks yesterday, it's the 3-year anniversaries with us, and
Wow.
building out that culture, those systems. So it's been, for a little while, we were kind of drinking from a fire hose with the COVID growth. And we made the mistake that you already had said, there's, hey, bigger means this great, better quality of life. It doesn't at all. It's all about the quality of what we have in terms of our people, our homeowners, our homes, where our niche is, and staying with that and never diverting from that. But it's been a wild journey from 2019, going
Yeah.
that amount of unit count. And the biggest challenge, though, that we've had that I've had to grow into as a leader is it's all about people. I can go on for hours about our tech stack and the technology and what, proprietary stuff that we've built and coded and how all of our technology is integrated. And I understand that entire ecosystem. That's great, but none of this works without people.
Mm.
And so that has been our biggest challenge, is having the right people to support the business that we've built. And we've done an amazing job at that. And that's something that
Yeah.
I'm truly proud of.
Yeah. Then that's the linchpin for most companies is the right people. And so I'd love to hear more about that. Like, so of the 40 people that you have, what are those roles? And then 220 units in the last 2 years. I mean, that's 2 or 3 properties a week coming in every
Mm-hmm.
single week. So what does that process look like? And how are those 40 people involved in that process when you onboard a new,
Mm-hmm.
a new property?
Yeah, so we run our whole about 2.5 years ago. We said, how can we operate more efficiently? How can we really build a robust system that isn't just siloed around departments and really bring agile type management and communication into our business? And we heard a lot of uh, other companies in operational spaces, whether it's HVAC, whether it's plumbing, whether it's other management companies, implementing a system called EOS, which stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. And and I've had a lot of arguments with people in the past. Well, isn't it just similar to this system? And that really, it's just a system that your whole company buys into and every individual is engaged into, that sets everyone's goals, tracks all their metrics, their KPIs, and it instills accountability, and it allows transparency across the entire enterprise of your company, and that everyone knows what success looks like. And when someone is not successful, it allows you to understand that either A, the person's in the wrong seat and let's put them in the right seat of your company, or B, they don't need to work here anymore. And so our whole company runs on that system, all 40 of us, from everyone, from every single role, all the way down to, people always want to put cleaners at the bottom of the totem pole. For us, they're just as important. Everyone is just as important at every single role, and we all have something that offers to the business. So everyone's engaged into it. And so every framework is of our company is from myself, who's the leader of the company, so is my wife, and then our integrator and kind of chief operations officer now. His name's Scott Heyman. He manages all of our teams. And so under the teams, you've got finance, you've got business development, you've got operations, you've got customer experience, and all those departments go all the way down to customer service, owner communications, listing and onboarding teams, technical teams. You've got cleaning, maintenance, laundry, all going up to operations. So everyone knows where their seat is at any given time in this framework. And each team meets once a week. They have one meeting a week where they go over all the to-dos, everything. But the biggest thing about that meeting is it's just to solve the issues that are preventing them from being successful or preventing our customers being successful. They're an hour and a half meeting for each person in the company once a week to bring issues to the table and solve them. And so when you talk about 40 people every week, that is what you're talking, 160 issues, at a minimum getting solved per month, and you quantify that by 12 every year, and we're solving critical, over 1,000 issues that are hampering our business or someone's job to be successful. That's a little high level of how we operate and how everyone is built into their role in their department. But the beauty about the system is we use a software called My90. Someone in customer service knows exactly what I'm working on and what my priorities are and what my goals are that quarter. They know what I did last week. They know, so it's all the silos are broken down, and everyone understands the role they're in and what success is supposed to look like for them the next 13 weeks out, every 13 weeks.
Wow.
And so it's been a really great system to implement. I didn't learn all this overnight. We brought in a whole consultant from the US Worldwide program to help us implement this. It's the best investment that I've ever made as a business owner to date, that has nothing to do with software or people or salaries. It's a theory, and you just have to implement it. The framework's there, and you just got to follow it. And then when it comes to the onboarding, we have, my focus of the company, the day to day is the culture, and then I focus on business development, kind of the big picture deals. So I still do a lot in the business development. I love working with our clients, our people, and I get a sense of gratitude knowing when we sign on an owner that they're going to have an amazing experience with their team. And so the confidence is there, and we've been proving that. We've built our onboarding process over the years. We struggled for, I'd probably say here in Texas, for the first year and a half or so, refining our onboarding process, how to handle that, that growth. We went through a lot of people, to get the right people in those teams. But we know that every house that we sign on, if all the steps are done in terms of their construction, everything, we know we're going to onboard them in 3 weeks or less, and the average is about 2 weeks in terms into our services. So we have teams dedicated to getting those homes up at such a high, you're talking about photos, smart locks installs, all the connections, testing, building, listings. There's a ton that goes on, but we have an agile meeting every morning, those teams, because it's all about communication internally. So we have a meeting that's 15 minutes every single morning of what's being onboarded that day, what steps are to do, and going down our checklists of where things are at. We have an onboarding meeting once a week, but each morning it's so critical that your onboarding operations teams speak together. And
Got it.
so it just takes a lot of communication, but also takes people who are trained in their role on what their daily job is to get those units, onboarded or listed. But we were doing about 20 to 30 homes a month for 2 years. We've cut that back. We're only going forward doing about 5 per month, and they have to be
Wow.
the right homes, the right homeowners. So we have cut back our onboarding significantly to ensure that we're getting the right quality of homes and that we're focusing solely on the quality going forward. But there's just a lot of people make this work. But I think the key is it's the right people.